Welcome back to Music with Mascots. This is part 2 of record cleaning. I did the unboxing of these 2 units in part 1, and we're going to do the actual cleaning now in part 2. I have a station set up here. I've got my drying cloths on the left, surfactant solution, distilled water, and one of the things that I do is cut up some index cards, make a little stack of them, put on today's date, which is 3/2/25. You probably can't see that. And what I do is when I put the album back in its outer sleeve, I put in one of these so I know the date that I cleaned it. Also, if you want to, you can put a little mark on it every time you play it so you'll know how many times you've played it since you've cleaned it. Behind me, I have inner sleeves, I have outer sleeves, and I have gatefold outer sleeves, and I have, first time I've tried these, dual pocket resealable, made in Canada. I think this is Vinyl Solutions that made this. I'm not sure. Never used these before, but I'm going to try them out today. And you'll see my whole process. And the gatefold sleeves are down below that. So if I do a gatefold album, we'll be able to do that. So now I'm going to pop this out. And I have chosen some really nasty records to clean, to really put this system to the test and see how good it is. Don't know if you're going to actually be able to see just how bad they are, but I don't even mind grabbing it like this. That's how bad these are. Bought these at an antique store yesterday. This is the Cars Panorama. Didn't see any deep grooves. All I saw was handprints and dust, which to me means it should be a cleanable unit. And I'm going to set it here and here and clamp it on. Don't need to make it too tight. It's got rubber O-rings. Set it in here and that's one. That's two. That's three. Turns relatively easily. You get used to it immediately. 4 and 5. Now I'm going to do 5 in the other direction. One, two, three, there we go, 4 or 5, roughly. Now we're going to pop this out. We're going to put it in the spin clean. Oh, this one turns a lot harder. There we go. So the pressure on the record here is a lot higher than in the first unit. A little harder to turn. Okay, now I'm going to go the other way. All right, so that was just clean distilled water. That's a rinsing cycle. Now I'm going to handle it with a cloth. And I have the cotton cloth and I have the microfiber cloth underneath here. And I'm just going to move this with the grooves. Handling it carefully. Flip it over, and same thing. That's much better than it was. Nice and clean. Okay. It does seem to have a scratch here. Don't know if that'll reproduce itself when you're playing. And I'm going to repeat the process with a number of other records, and I will edit this down so that you don't have to spend an hour watching me clean a bunch of records. Okay, now just go through on these two, the process that I use for sleeving. And this one came with the paper sleeve. You just throw that away, recycle it. I've got the insert here, and what we're going to do is take an inner sleeve, courtesy of Hudson Hi-Fi. No, not courtesy, they might pay. Made by Hudson Hi-Fi. Anti-static sleeve. And we've got the cars, which was the first one I did. Just put it in there. And I'm going to take one of these double sleeves just to see how they work. Dual pocket. Okay, so then you have to put it in this way. And this one, and then you put this in the other. Now this side does not seal, so you can move the record in and out. Okay. This side does seal, and what I'm going to do is just in the corner here, put a date of cleaning card, pop it in there. These are nice sleeves, I like these. Go in and out of the record cabinet easily. Guess I'm doing an advertisement for these guys, unintentionally. However, if it works, I love sharing tips. All right, so there's the cars. This is the Alan Parsons project, which didn't even have a sleeve. So, first thing we're going to do is grab an outer sleeve. Set that here. Grab an inner sleeve. This is nice and clean and dry, and the inner sleeve went walkabout. You want to make sure it's dry, because you don't want any moisture in there to damage your records. This record has seen better days. I'll be curious to try it out. So, switch hands. Right hand, left hand. Goes very nicely in there. And so we've got the slot for the record. And then we've got the slot for the cover. Which we then seal. I'm going to show you some. I got to put in a date. Show you something I just noticed, and that's probably the reason, one of the reasons why they make these like this. Unless you have a gatefold, you can slide the record out, and you can still read what's on the cover without taking it out. So that's a big plus. If you don't remember, every time you handle the record cover, it's just that extra handling, and this helps protect it, except I put the sleeve, the date on backwards. So, need to be able to see it for it to be of use. $3, $2, $25. And there you go. Those are the first two that I've cleaned by this method. I've got a bunch more, but I'm not going to make you sit through it. Let me know how you care for your records. I know there are much more expensive ways to go. The Humming Guru and stuff has its own drying cycle, and those cost a lot more money. These were each under $100, and seem to work really well without the ultrasound of like a Humming Guru. Grab my next one. This one is brutal. This is Laurindo Almeida playing Villalobos's Concerto for Guitar and Small Orchestra. This is my favorite recording of the Villalobos Concerto. There's just something about Laurindo Almeida, a Brazilian guitar player, playing music by a Brazilian composer, and he just gets it. This is a great performance of this. And I'm going to show you something else here before I sign off and do the cleaning. This will be one of the first things that I play. Let me see where. This is the cover of this album. And when I unpacked it, it had a sleeve from Realistic. It says Realistic Anti-Static Record Protector. You probably know Realistic if you're old enough. You remember it was Radio Shack and Realistic were both part of the Tandy Corporation. And this is just a Ziploc bag. And you can tell that just over the years this is deteriorating. So I'm certainly not going to reuse that. But I've never seen one of those before. This one was really nasty. Really nasty. And you probably can't see it from there, but let's see if I can bring this up here and you can... This looks really good compared to what it was. Okay, I've finished with today's batch of cleaning. I didn't do as many as I had wanted to. But let's see, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 14. So I did 14 with the unboxing and setting up of everything. It took about 2.5 hours. The cleaning solution in the first step that I used was absolutely filthy. It took a lot of dirt and grime off of these records. That dirt and grime will end up on your stylus if you don't clean the records. So it's very important to keep your records as clean as possible. Clean your stylus regularly, and you'll get the best playback that you can out of it. The second wash in the spin clean did help, because when I cleaned out that unit, there was a little bit of debris and stuff in that, even after having gone through the first step in the other unit. So I'm going to recommend that you do a 2-step. You can buy 2 of one kind, or do what I did and get 1 of each. And yeah, again, I didn't use as many of these as I thought I would. Little date cards that you can just cut up and put in each one. So now, when I pull out this Ambrosia album to listen to it, I know that I cleaned it here, and because there's no marks on it, I know that I haven't played it since I cleaned it. So I think that's a real plus. You can, once you get 10 plays or so on it, I definitely recommend that you clean it again. Some people will want to do more than that, and some people won't even want to do that much. So figure out the system that works best for you, and use it, and try and be as regular as you can about it. Oh yes, I did want to answer one question that is kind of interesting. At least I find it kind of interesting. It's come up on a bunch of other YouTube channels, and that is, do you clean brand new records? And my answer is sometimes. If I open up a record and everything looks pristine and the record comes out of its sleeve easily, I don't. But, and I'll pull this one out to show you, hold on. These 2 albums by Emmett Cohen I got at the same time. And let's see, I think they're both Mac Avenue Records. So they're both by the same manufacturer. And beautiful album covers, by the way. When I first took them out of the record sleeve, the record did not come easily out. I would literally hold it upside down and the record would stay there. That's indicative of a lot of static. So I did treat these for static at the time, but the best treatment for static is to clean the record. So I am going to be cleaning these soon, even though, yeah, they're brand new. Great recordings, by the way. I'll do a review of these at some point down the road. Fantastic jazz pianist. But it's a little frustrating when you get a brand new record and it's full of static or debris. The sleeves that this came in were not anti-static sleeves. And a lot of the stuff that you buy today will come with anti-static sleeves. And if it did come with anti-static sleeves, I recall that it didn't, but I might be mistaken. They didn't work. So both of those are going to get a cleaning. The other one that I did today, I picked this album up at an antique shop. It was sealed, brand new, unopened, had all the shrink wrap and stuff that it came with, and it had not been opened. But when I pulled the album out, it was pristine, except for one thumbprint on it, which meant that someone that was handling it while they were in the manufacturing process left behind their print. I don't think it was a good enough print to identify who did it. And this is an older album, 1976. So this from 1976 had not even been opened. It's a beautiful gatefold. And I will be listening to this fairly soon. Do like Synergy electronic keyboard, not like EDM. This is like 70s electronic, so a lot better. And I'll do a review of that as well, looking back at the past. So there we go. I, again, recommend either of these. You should definitely have one. And for me, I definitely like the two-stage process that was recommended to me by Peter Letterman of Soundsmith Engineering, and they make high-end styluses. And I do have one of the better styluses on my Bang & Olufsen. They make all of the Bang & Olufsen styluses from way back, and they range from $300, $400 up to $1,000 in the standard Bang & Olufsen line. And then they make their own that's a lot higher end. It's the Voice, and it's the same, basically the same manufacturing process as the Voice that they use in their regular styluses. And that's a $2,600 stylus. I don't have that one on my turntable, although I would wish I could afford it. Right now I can't. I have the $1,000 unit, which is the MMC1, which is the top of the line that Bang & Olufsen made. He's the one that first recommended to me the two-step process, and I like the two-step process. So shout out to Peter Letterman at Soundsmith, and I highly recommend their styluses. And I also like their input on the cleaning process. Thank you again for joining. If you made it this far, please hit like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. In the comments, let me know what you use for a cleaning process. And I know there are plenty of people out there that don't use one, other than maybe a little brush when they first start up the album when they play it. Just looking at the amount of debris that came off of these records, I was really pleased with, this is the only one that I've owned and didn't buy recently, and it was so much cleaner and so much better shape than the other ones that I bought recently, mostly yesterday. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll know when I come up with something new. Again, I will be adding reviews as we go, and just general thoughts about audiophile gear. I'll do a video on my equipment at some point in the near future, and you'll get to see what I'm using and how I'm using it. Have a wonderful day. Keep listening to music. Stay happy. Be kind. Thank you very much.